Nosphere actually makes really good videos. He's gonna surpass me very fast because he's just like one of the pioneers. Might as well learn from one of the best, right? Putting up all this content for free.
What's good? It's your boy. It's your boy,
Skinny penis.
it's your boy Nosphere. I decided to make a brand new YouTube series called Reacting to YouTube Tutorials.
I feel like he's planned his YouTube
especially
thing out for a
dubstep
while.
tutorials.
His
Today,
videos are so like spot on. They're good.
So today we're going to react to Dripman's compression and OTT setup for beginners. Easy, Ableton Live. The reason I wanted to start this series a long time ago is because I'm sure you probably know that I teach online through Zoom and Discord. I usually do like one-on-one lessons, and people have a crazy amount of misinformation from tutorials. So if you have a sussy tutorial that you want me to react to, or you know, if you're curious about a plugin like an effects or anything, and then you want me to react to any tutorials about that effect, we can do that, no problem. And I can tell you if it's useful or not useful for dubstep in general. So let's get cracking with
There you go.
treatment.
And why it's so important. We're also going to be going over bass loops. And to me, what we want to do is make this louder. So
Got
usually
the
what we
A-Van
would do
samples,
is
okay.
use
Reaction to a reaction to a reaction. This is how down bad I am for content. Let's not bring
Now,
that
it's
up.
best not to just
Actually, side note, compressors are made to make sounds quieter, and they're made to increase the perceived loudness. So that's one really important thing if you're
Also, anything sound design, like audio engineer related, I have no idea. If it sounds loud and clean on SoundCloud, I know my place, and Nosphere definitely knows more than me, and just, you know, on how all this stuff works. I just
use it for different types of sounds, because when you add it to this bass loop,
if you want to know how a compressor works, just use this video as reference.
that video is
because
actually really
that's a
good.
super detailed and well put together video about compression.
That thumbnail is just
use that
crazy.
if you want to know the exact specifics of a compressor.
turn down, which it's a good sign. That means we're compressing. If we keep
I mean, that sound he put the glue on, it's already so fucking loud and distorted, and it has basically no dynamics that I think, in my opinion, it doesn't need any compression at all at this stage or at this point. So
keep turning it down, it compresses it a lot.
I agree with this statement.
I mean, we are talking about a single band compressor, so it's not going to affect anything apart from the overall volume. If he puts it back up with the makeup gain, it's going to sound the same.
And then we use this makeup to turn it back up.
He pushes it well above what he reduces, so that's why it starts distorting.
So this compressor is one of my favorites. It's very strong, very powerful. And we're controlling all the frequencies at one time. Lows, mids, highs. Do less compression by turning the
Yeah, it's a
compressor
single
back
band
up.
plug-in. Still,
Right, neck.
it sounds better because it started to distort because he pushes it over zero and it's clipping. That's all. It's not really compressing that much.
Negative 6 now. Before. Coming in about negative 10 LUFS. If we simply add a Multiband Dynamics, this will make it louder.
Okay, so what he did here is actually putting in a multiband dynamics and boosting every single band by 6 dB. Basically does the same thing as putting a utility on there and boosting the whole song or the whole sound by 6 dB. He basically just clips the signal into a clipper or at the end of the mastering. It's like, it's not even compressing at all. As you can see, the ratio is 1:1, so whatever crosses the threshold, it's not getting reduced by anything.
So, before, after.
Oh, and also LUFS or LUFS is is a value used for estimating loudness, and it takes LUFS as a standard takes your ear's frequency response into consideration because your ear is more sensitive to, for example, 3.4 kilohertz compared to 80 hertz. So LUFS is not the actual digital loudness of the track. It's just an
You
estimate.
did all these subtitles. God
It's a
damn.
different standard. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not the actual digital peak loudness of the signal, of the sample, or the synth, or whatever.
I mean, sounds like so far he's literally just corrected every single thing this man said. So
Keep in mind, this multiband dynamics has been slightly modified. Usually it's at 0, but we're turning them up 6 dB to give us some more input signal so that it can work easier. And I actually have saved it like this.
we put more input signal in so that it works easier. Literally, he's just looking at it and he's just like saying shit at this point. That's just to me though. Just to me. That's to me. I would say some shit like that. I don't know. If I was, you know, I would say some shit like that.
Is another form of multiband dynamics. It's actually a preset for multiband dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
And it's over-the-top compression. It's basically compression and expansion at its maximum levels. Remember, dynamics is the whole thing that we are focused on here, and we use the compressor.
Okay, yeah, you can read all that if you want to.
What they're talking about is...
Does this motherfucker have a church bell going off in the background? Y'all hear that shit? There's a fucking church bell just going off in the background like it's like he's in a Bloodborne boss or some shit. Cleric Beast about to pop out. Yeah, this man's king of bullshit, and I'm not gonna hold you.
If your song...
But that's that thing that he read, dynamics, add interest, emotion, and drama to music. Imagine the dramatic opening to Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, but without dynamics. Yes, dynamics can
This
do
one's
all
so
of those
hurts to
things,
watch.
but not in EDM. In EDM, you have a negligible amount of dynamics, like 6 to like 8 dB. In classical music, you have a lot of dynamics. That's not even close. Some instruments are super quiet, some are insanely loud. But in electronic music, there's next to no dynamic range because everything is just simply loud. Even pop songs are loud these days. If you pull in a pop song or a I don't know, like a Travis Scott song, that's not pop, I know, but it's like super mainstream. If you pull in one of those tracks and let's say a Barely Alive track, it's almost the same dynamic range. They probably have, the Travis track probably has a little more, but it's not noticeable. I'd say dynamics is important as far as make your drop or the climax of the track the loudest part, obviously, but that's obvious in my opinion. And then everything else should be a little bit quieter. Nowadays, you can't really, especially in dubstep, rhythm tear out like the core dubstep thing that's booming right now. You probably won't be able to do like extremely dynamic tracks because there's just no crowd for it anymore. There probably is a small amount of people who care about dynamics,
right now.
but nowadays everything just max loudness all the time, every time. And that's it.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said is just facts because now literally all we do, at least in my production, is just a lot of clipping. That's just it. Like, that's literally what it is. So,
also what he says, like the breakdown and build, drop, etc. Those are songwriting differences, not dynamics differences.
Energy and emotion of the music.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I hear where you're coming from, Kukla. That's just like when I was first starting off too, and there was like barely any tutorials to follow. It kind of starts fucking you over when you start following like maybe cymatics and then this and that, because everyone had their own, you know, production style. It's not necessarily wrong, but there's a certain style you want to achieve, and just like most of them can be misleading. And I see that mostly with dubstep. I feel like every genre is a little different, but mostly with dubstep, it's been pretty rough.
Multiband Dynamics can do upwards compression and downwards compression, which is just the opposite. So it basically compresses towards the threshold, not above the threshold. That's it. Okay, let's check out the examples.
Put it on 0.
Uh-huh.
So regular, turned on. So we basically have to tell Ableton to allow more signal to come into the compressor. So that's why we're turning it up 6 dB so it can activate and start to compress and expand.
But you don't have any ratio, so there's not going to be any compression.
Compresses and expands is all based on these things here. So this is the threshold. This is These little bands here, this is where it activates. So you see, as we play the sound, you'll see the bars move.
That's literally the worst sigh you can ever hear. He hasn't even been really mean this far.
So
He's
basically,
kind of correcting
what
him.
he tries to say is, this is the part where you said the upwards compression. This is where you said the downwards regular compression. You have low, mids, and highs separated by these frequencies. So mid is between 1.8 and 94 hertz. High is above 1.8 kilohertz. Low is below 95 hertz. And basically, you have a minus 60 dB threshold for the below and a 1-on-1 ratio. That's going to do nothing. If you up the ratio, it's going to push everything that's below minus 60 up to minus 60 if the ratio is big enough. And then the above will do the exact opposite. So if you have a minus 21 dB ceiling or threshold, it's going to decrease the volume based on the ratio you set. So if you have a high ratio, it's going to reduce it down to minus 21.
Remember, this is the threshold.
And then you have the time parameters for it, so you can set the compressors to be super fast or super slow.
And this is the output. These 3 bars are the output.
Those are not the output. Those are the downwards compression thresholds you're setting.
Understand? So this is why we're trying to go over all those aspects here.
The tree from... Did you eat... I'm gonna ask you again. Did you eat a tree from right here?
All your tracks.
I don't know Dripman personally. I've never spoken to him. Just in the context of this video, just not a good look. And that's gonna reflect onto your, you know, your channel and your community and everything you stand for. So I don't try to act like I know. I literally tell you I don't know what I'm doing. I just don't. I like doing stuff that sounds good. Do this and it sounds good. Try it. It might work for you. That's it.